Okay, cosmetics, medications, vitamins, shampoos, etc. Hopefully, as we've been trying to do, the goal of these shiurim is ultimately to obviously be shomer halacha, but certain shiurim is also to be more well versed, more aware of what isn't an issue, what isn't an issue, etc., etc. And as we mentioned, no one should assume anything. I'm going to go back to our milk example that we already mentioned. Is there any water, seltzer, any liquid? If not, I'll just take from the sink. Okay, I appreciate it. We'll go back to our milk example that Rabbi you shared. You know, sometimes as we're about to learn, we're going to see a lot of things are going to be mutter. A lot of things. But like, don't on your own decide, so if that's mutter, then that's mutter. That's really where the issues begin. You know, whether the milk example, I think, was a very telling example. The example we'll repeat again was, and very again, when flying on Yontif, is one who eats chalav stam, OU milk, so you get OUP milk. No big deal. God bless you. Thank you very, very much. The water's perfect. You get it here. Don't have to waste another cup. OUP milk is fine. But what happens when you're on an airline, who knows where, they don't have OUP milk? Why not? Because they have OU milk. So on Pesach, Lamaisa, it's a shver shayla, because they add in certain vitamins and things into milks, which might have chametz. So the Eitzah is, but that same exact milk we spoke about, but if you buy before Pesach, isn't an issue, because there's bittul before Pesach, not on Pesach. Again, if one gets into the shayla, could be for a newborn and whatnot, maybe there would be a makkah to be makel. But
there's a problem to passport on the airline also.
That maybe in Hanami being nene, but all we're pointing out is the disclaimer is anytime you're going to say things are mutter, just got to be careful. Don't take them more or ask. That's bisiyata. That's part of this overarching shiloh over here. The OU is paskening when the Jew buys it. They're paskening that has to be bought by a yid before Pesach in order to effect the bittul. That is what the OU is paskening in that letter. Is that pashut or not? We're not getting involved in that right now. So basically, we're going to divide tonight's share into two categories. We're going to have items that go into the mouth and items that do not go into the mouth. And hopefully, with that, we'll try to take the whole world and split it in two. It should hopefully be reminiscent of our cleaning share. We said very similar dinim, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let's start with things that do not go into your mouth. What does not go into your mouth?
Deodorant.
We call them deodorant, we call them cosmetics, we call them shampoos, soaps, lotions, perfumes, and the like. So let's begin. The simple halacha is anything that does not go into your mouth, you do not have to worry about on Pesach. Don't have to check any list. You don't have to be concerned. You can use whatever shampoo, whatever soap, whatever deodorant, whatever perfume and cologne that you would like. Now, what is the reason for this? And again, we're going to modify this, but the simple halacha should be such, and it will end up being that according to the letter of the law. And the simple reason is there's basically three reasons that converge. If you don't want to know the reasons, okay, but it helps a little bit. Number one is very good. It's not royal achilas kelev. We've never seen a dog drinking shampoo or soap. It just doesn't happen. It's not royal. It's not fit for an animal to eat it. Number two is even if there was chametz, which we don't know, right? Because what we just said is you take your bottle of shampoo. I don't know. Even if you look at the ingredients, it's all Chinese to you, and you use it. If there is chametz, what would it be at most? It would be called a taroives chum. It's a mixture. It's not, you're not taking a loaf of bread and scrubbing it on your hair. That'd be quite odd. And who? I don't know what that was in English.
It's a cream that has wheat.
Again. We're talking about all of those things. Yes, with wheat. At most, what? Oatmeal, all these achin. Talking about things that they're mixtures of chametz. They're taroives of chametz. They're not fit for achilas kelev. Now, oatmeal baths, I think you actually could use regular oatmeal. And that would maybe be a different story because that is certainly ra'il, all levels of achila. But we're talking about cosmetics in the cosmetic form. They're not ra'il achilas kelev, and they're tarayves, and they're not ra'il for humans to eat. And therefore, the basic halach is, if you want to know where this comes from, Shulchan Aruch discusses a thing called a taryaka. What is a taryaka? We have absolutely no clue. But one thing that we know about it is that the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishmur explains, it's not ro'il achila, and says Mishnah Berurah, you're allowed to be nehana from this item. You're allowed to get benefits from this item that has some level of chametz in it, even though it has some level of chametz in it, you're just not eating it. So that's where we get this halacha that cosmetics are all going to be mutter. Let's go to the next level. What about perfume? Everyone knows there's something about perfume, cologne, and things like that. What's the shaila? Shaila is alcohols. They all, many, contain alcohol in them. And therefore, who cares? No one, I hope, and if someone is still binging on their perfume or cologne, we should have a conversation. Not with me. We could set you up with someone good, because maybe at certain dorm or diras in the world, that might have been a necessity at certain points of life. But if someone is still holding there, we have problems. But Ramosha Feinstein writes just that in a tshuva. He writes that the Russian soldiers drink, distill cologne, perfume, and then they can drink it, says Ramosha. So says Ramosha, very good that you take this thing and it smells good and you would never touch it, but it has alcohol that is roi lachila mamish. You just have to distill it, says Ramosha. Therefore, one should not use it. Now, this Ramosha is really the basic premise that a third of the famed Rabbi Blumenkrantz book was written on this yisoid and on this din. And in as much as it's certainly a beautiful chumrah to go with such a level of Ramosha, however, the basic halacha is that we paskin not this way. And even if I'm actually looking, I think I have the lashon of Ramosha here. I apologize. Yeah, I do. Just if you want to know where it is, Archaim Gimel Samach Beis. I believe Ramosha himself says you should be machmir. It doesn't say it's aser. I think that's the lashon. Lemaisa, most paiskim argue.
Ramosha's rationale is that
you could distill it.
You can do something.
Yes.
Make it
Yes. Yeah. So what's the taina back? No one in this room knows how to do it, and therefore why are we worried?
I think of Rome.
Yeah, and whatever. Not getting involved. But Lemaisa. Oh, but 1 second. I did see Rabbi Rudinsky says he's machalik, and I'm just repeating what he says, and I have zero knowledge on the topic. He says the difference between European perfumes and colognes versus non-European. He says that the European ones, they've shown him that mamish have alcohol and it's mamish roi lachila, and therefore he advises not. That's what he says. I don't have an opinion on the matter. The general consensus is not that way.
And everything is made in China today.
Oh, listen, we're past the COVID days. We don't have to worry about that. But either way, lemaisa, what's the halacha? The halacha is it's mutter. All perfumes, colognes are all mutter. It's a chumrah. Now, what's the chumrah? Let's just be careful. The chumrah is not to not use it. Chumrah is to verify if it has chametz. Now, how do you verify it? Good luck. I wish everyone lots of atzlacha trying to verify it. Some of the books have them. Somehow you always get the one that's like one dot off of on the list. It's sort of like the toothpaste. It's probably the same. There's like 4,000 of them. You got 4,001. Somehow it doesn't work. We'll get there with lipstick in a moment. But lemaisa, the basic halacha is it is mutter. The chumrah is to check. Now the reason why I say to check is a lot of them have alcohol, which is synthetically produced alcohol, and therefore it's not something that one would really have to be concerned about. That is perfumes and cologne. So basically, to summarize the first 9 minutes of everything we just said, anything that doesn't go in your mouth, according to the letter of the law, you're allowed to use on Pesach. You want to know if there's a makom to be machmir? Wonderful. Matoiv umanoim. Some want to say that sicha kishtia. We know that when you put ointments on you, it gets absorbed into the skin. So some want to say that's another reason to be machmir. But again, the chumrah would be to verify if it has chametz in it, if it has wheat in it. We're going to be careful with that in a moment when we get to medications. And that is the halacha with all of those items, perfumes and colognes. Lemaisa are mutter, but a chumrah if one is holding
You're
there.
Staying home.
Yes.
And the person you're staying by is machmir. So to him, it's considered chometz.
No,
right?
so good. It's not.
Like he bring a chometz.
No. It's mamish not chametz. It's mamish not chametz because I think that's what you have to look at the lashon of Ramosha. Even in Ramosha, it's a chumrah. It's in your bag. It's not his. Last time I checked, if he goes into your suitcase and takes out the diamond bracelet you just bought your wife for a gift, and he says, "Oh, you're in my house, I can take it," l'chayra, you wouldn't be so happy. Why? Because it's yours. What's in your bag is yours. It's yours. It's not his. Skradza, this has to do with workers bringing chametz into different rishuyos, which we're not going to get to now. That is part A. That was a subliminal gift to everyone to buy your wife diamond bracelets. Those who could afford, those who can't, fake diamonds might work as well. But it's rather a real thing. Just on the quickest side before we get into medications, it's a real halacha that one is mechuyav to be mesameach ishtay beregel, and the way is with buying her something. The place can even discuss. Can it be clothing? Is that called buying her a gift? Okay, we're not going to get involved in the lashon of the Rambam and things like that. We'll leave that to all the wonderful shiurim people will hear between Mincha and Ma'ariv when it's too late, anyways. Yeah, a car is definitely enough. A card. But Lemaisa, one should try avada to be misameach. And you should know, at least say about a card, if it's like a handwritten card, maybe. A generic Hallmark card is not really doing much for you. But if it's a handwritten personal card for the average woman, that might be more than most things. But okay, let's go to part B. Part B is medications. Now we're going everything that goes into your mouth. And one item which you might not have realized is going to be included in part B is lipstick. It's lipstick, lip balm, and all those items. Why? Because they go in your mouth. Now, I'm aware that you're not eating them, but if anyone has tried, and if anyone, wants to secretly try... Oh, that was weird. Lip balm. Lipstick has a flavor. You're a little bit too quick on that one. But they do say that lipstick has a flavor. Everyone could, homework is try it. Lipstick. But we're going to get there in a moment. So medications. Let's understand medications for a moment. The first disclaimer, which you hope to only make once, usually it depends on the age bracket, how many times you make this disclaimer. But anyone that is taking medication that they need for serious illness should never stop taking. This animal has enough calls he's going to be dealing with over Yontif. Please don't be that genius that stopped taking your heart medication and 2 days into Yontif, your heart decided that it needs the medication. Something that is life-altering, you should definitely ask a shayla about. And as you'll see in a moment, those things will probably be mutter anyways. That's a stam disclaimer. Number 2 is, let's go into medications. Let's go into things that you put in your mouth. We're now going to further sub-categorize part B into 2 categories. This is going to be called things with taste. In English, that's called flavored. Things without taste. In English, that's called unflavored, flavorless, tasteless, however you want to call it. So again, we're trying to set up a map over here. Things in your mouth, we're going into 2 different categories, without a taste. So let's begin with items without a taste. Items without a taste, according to the letter of the law, are perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There might be a wheat ingredient inside of it. Again, one does not have to be concerned. According to the letter of the law, we'll get to in a moment why there would be a shayla. But the pashtus is any unflavored medication is going to be fine. The pashtus. That's what we're talking about. Any unflavored medication, your classical Tylenol, Advil, Actimel for those Israeli amongst us, or acetaminophen for those Americans.
Even if it has chametz.
Even if it has chametz. Why? Because taking a pill is not called eating, which we're going to get to this deeper in 1 minute. Now, many medications, believe it or not, do not contain chametz, but they contain kitnius. Now, just the reason is we live in a very gluten-friendly world. By that I mean a gluten-free world. You have to realize, why would any pill manufacturer put gluten into an item? Then they just cut out a percentage of the world can't take their medicine. So they don't. Now, that was not a rule. I did not just say no medicines have gluten. But by far and large, many, if not most, do not. And you can find this out very simply. If it's gluten-free, that means there's no wheat inside. But that does not mean you could take it. Why? Because there are starches they put inside, starch binders. Starches are kitnius. Kitnius is forbidden on Pesach. We're all Ashkenazi here. We do not eat kitnius on Pesach. However, why do you take medicine? Because you're sick. Thank you. That was weird. We have a lot of people popping pills for no reason in this room. That was slightly strange. Okay. When we do this with the Bachram, we understand. But either way, okay. Why do you take medicine? Because you're not well. Because you're not well. The halacha is one who is not well to the point that he is bedridden. He's nafal lemishkav, we call it. The term we'll use is bedridden. The simple examples are the common flu, COVID, debatable depending on which team you are in the world. But the common flu, the migraine headache, and things like that, things you want to be in bed for. I can't be in bed. I have to go here. I have to go there. But you want to be in bed. And no, not just you want to take a nap to get away from your wife and kids. You have to be in bed. You don't feel well. Again, a migraine, a flu. I think we have the basic example. You're allowed to take kidneys. Kidneys is mutter for chaylish in by sakana. This is reminiscent of that which we spoke, I think we mentioned that children, we are makel to have kidneys. I don't know if we spoke about that or not. As I say it, I feel like we did not. But maybe at the end we should do that. But children, lemais, a lot of the formulas have kidneys in it, and therefore a chaylish she'ein by sakana would be allowed to have kidneys. So it's important to know a lot of medications you might see on a list. It says not fit for Pesach, but the reason is because of kidneys. Now, happens to be the lists have gotten better and better and better every single year. And I think now they list when it's kidneys and they list when it's actual chametz. So kidneys would be mutter for a chayla. Now, you understand that even if you would have a flavored medication, flavored, good taste, don't worry, I'll summarize the rules afterwards if you're getting lost in all the details. The flavored medication, if it has kidneys, is going to be mutter if you're a chayla. It has a flavor. You're benefiting from it. You are. But what are you benefiting from? Starch, kidneys. And you're a chayla. So it's mutter. So with that, we basically now have the basic halacha on all medications. We'll go one step deeper in a moment, but let's first get the basic halacha. The basic halacha is anything that is tasteless, flavorless, is good to go. Anything with flavor, we have to split into yes, kidneys, no kidneys. Kidneys means starch. If it has real chametz in it and it has a flavor, you cannot take. If God forbid one is a life-altering illness and the medication they take is flavored with chametz, it's an odd case because usually the pills you're going to be taking will be flavorless. But let's say, obviously you ask a shayla, but any flavored medication with chametz you cannot take. A flavored medication with kidneys, if you're a chayla, you could take. Before we summarize everything, let's just go one step deeper into tasteless medications, because I'm sure it's not sitting well with some people that lemaisa you're putting into your body, you're putting into your mouth, you're ingesting something with chametz. How in the world is that mutter? So the question you're really asking, the depth of your question is something in halacha called achshevei. Achshevei means I'm machshiv this item as something, then it gets the halachic status as something. This is based on the Gemara in Pesach, which we don't have time to go into, but that is the idea. Based off of that, come along certain paiskim that are machmer, will give the names in a moment. They say, if you're putting it in your mouth, what does that mean? That means you want to take it. It wasn't a mistake. So you want to put the pill in your mouth. So very good, it has no taste. You can't do that if it has chametz. That's what the Shagas Aryeh, that's the Baal Tanya, the Shulchan Aruch Harav holds. Lehalacha lemaisa kemat kol paiskim argue. Ramosha, the Chazon Ish, the Ksav Sefer, Rosh Zalman, amongst everyone else, and they say, you're not putting it in your mouth because you want it as food. Why putting it in your mouth? Because you want to get better. You don't want to be sick. It's not like you took a tissue and you decided, oh, yummy, I want to eat a tissue, and then if it had chametz in it, you'd be machshav it and you made the tissue into food. No, that's ridiculous. Say all the paiskim. It's a pill, and that's the reason why it's mutter. But in deference to the Shagas Aryeh, in deference to the Baal Tanya, there are those that say Lamaisa it's Pesach, and Lamaisa, if you have a choice, why not? Now, with that being said, most of the classical medications aren't an issue anyways, and again, the chumrah would be just to check a list and see, but that is the reason why there are those that Lamaisa want to be a little bit more machmir in this category than the first category, simply because it's going in your mouth. So now, to summarize part B, we basically have, again, three levels. Two 2 levels, but within 2 we have the kidney shtickle. So I made it into 3, but you're right, it's really 2. Again, in things that go into your mouth, you have flavored and you have flavorless. Things without taste, lamaisa are mutter. We'll add a little asterisk. If someone wants to be machmer, shagesar, yigras, again, you could check the list. Make sure it's gluten-free. Do a casual glance. It is a beautiful thing to do. When it comes to flavored, which, by the way, in a moment we're going to realize toothpaste is flavored and lipstick is flavored. So things that are flavored, lemaisa, are a problem. What does it mean they're a problem? Doesn't mean you can't take that. No, please do not brush your teeth for 8 days. What it means is you have to check and make sure it doesn't have chametz. How do you do that? There's a 4,000 list out there. Any quick, computer search will get you the list. Be careful. Be careful. Just because you type in toothpaste Pesach and the first day it says it's good, be careful. Be careful. Did everyone understand what I'm saying? Just because there's some blog somewhere that someone wrote in that I checked in 2006, this thing, and it was good. Mrs. Who knows who? We don't even know what anything is. So, but if you check in all the verified lists, OU and the CRC and the Star K, they all put out wonderful lists, and the Cuff K, and I'm not trying to be any whatever over here. They all put out wonderful lists. The OU's app, the OU has an app. You just put in the product, and a mamish comes up. It's Meyertik, which, by the way, public service announcement, those who eat Chal Yisrael, the OU's app, and those who don't want to eat dairy when they're fleishiks, the OU's app started putting on DE. Dairy equipment is not on the product, but it's in the app. It's in the app, so those who are craving their Oreos after their steak dinner, check the app, and it'll tell you that come out, most of them, not all of them, there are certain variations. Never knew there were this many types of Oreos until I searched Oreos on the OU app, but they will tell you which ones are dairy equipment. So back to us, the things that go in your mouth, again, if it's flavored, I'm sorry, I'm over time, I'm really finished. We're just going to wrap it up and go through a list of products. Things that are flavored, lamai, so you have to know, is it chametz, is it kitnius? If it's chametz, there's nothing to talk about. If it's kitnius, if it's starch, and things like that, then a chayla could take them. What's the gather of a chayla? We said someone who's not full of mishkav, someone has to be in bed. Children, if you have a shayla, you ask, and yes.
But we said even if it's chametz, if it's a choyle, you're allowed, no?
Only a real chayla. No, if it's chametz with taste, then you have a problem. But again, it doesn't really exist. I'm just going to let you know, the chametz with taste things are going to be lower level medications. Higher level medications are not going to have taste. Anyone's taking a heart medication, there's no taste on that pill. That would be strange. Oh, vitamins, good. So vitamins are a very big shiloh. Let's go through. We just basically answered the shiloh. But now, very good. So vitamins, lamaisa. So vitamins.
Enjoy the flavor.
No, so vitamins have taste. We'll get to melatonin in a moment.
Enjoy it.
1 second. Vitamins have taste. There are tasteless vitamins, but in general, vitamins have taste. Again, for children, let's just go slowly. We'll get to your answer in a minute. Vitamins have taste, and therefore, if one is just taking a vitamin because, like, why not? Just pump the body with as much vitamin C as possible, and it has taste, one should not be taking that on Pesach. Or check a list. A lot of them, so we live in a gluten-friendly world. But vitamins, you have to be more careful because you're not sick at all. And therefore, if it has kidneys, you cannot take. If it's a tasteless vitamin, happens to be one I have written down in my notes, a very classical one is prenatals, lamaisa, which are prescribed by doctors often. That would be a case that one could be makel. It has no taste. A vitamin with a good taste, of course, then one has to verify. All the children's medications, lamaisa, a lot of them are good. A lot of times there's a difference between the Tylenol and the Advil. I don't know. You have to just check it up. Sometimes, it depends on the flavor. So you just have to look it up. And then again, the next level is if it's not good, you have to see, is it because there's actually wheat in there? Or is it because there's a starch binder in there? And if the kid is sick, you could take it. But if you're giving the kid certain things when they're not really sick, then you should be more careful. If it's an infant, then you don't have to worry about anything at all. Melatonin and the like would not be a problem. But melatonin, as we've come to realize, the melatonin, whether they say in the bottle you're only supposed to take it till you're like 4, somehow there are 18-year-olds still out there popping melatonin before they go to sleep. Instead of taking 1, they're taking 6. So because they're made for 4-year-olds. So if you are a infant, then there's kidneys in a lot of them. A lot of them actually have, someone told me they actually have a hechsher, and it has a hechsher and it says kosher Pesach contains kidneys. So what that means is it contains kidneys, which means a child or one who is ill could take it. But just for no reason, it cannot be cannot be taken by the adults in the room. Someone, those zin strips. I don't know if this is true. What was? I'm sorry. A young child automatically gets the din of someone who is sick. A young child. Oh, what's the age? What's the age? So the truth is, no, so I'll tell you, the truth is, a lot of it really depends if the kid's gonna be able to sleep without it. When it comes to sleeping, it's the same exact gedarim as Hilchos Shabbos. Are we gonna categorize this kid as a chayla she'ein by sakana? So when it comes to no, so yeah, so that's the problem. You just were machavin to many tshuvas svarim when they write about different areas in Hilchos Shabbos. That there were unique tshuvas. They write it's a sayrach of the kid. What's sayrach of the kid? The kid doesn't care what you do. Kid's happy to bounce off the walls till he passes out at 3 o'clock in the morning and wakes up at 6, ready to roll. But it's the parents that have the issue. But the answer to your question is, if the kid needs it to go to sleep, then he would be quicker to get into the gather of a chayla. The particulars we could discuss. Now, when it comes to lipstick, we just realized that lipstick goes in your mouth. So lipstick is a big fight. There are those that say, even though it goes in your mouth, it has a little bit of a good taste. You're not eating lipstick. It's a little bit strange. And therefore, there are those that say you could just go lipstick without any problem, and all you need to do is wipe off the end. Don't cut it off. You just ruined your wife's lipstick. Wipe off the end, or tell her to wipe it off. It's probably a better idea. And you do not need to buy a new one. But lemaisa, most are machmir on lipstick to check, to verify it doesn't have we'll get to the zin strips in a moment. The most are machmir to Rudinsky just answered that shayla, but it wasn't clear if it was.
They're very popular.
Yeah, we'll get there in a moment. We'll get there in mamish in one moment. The nicotine strips. So lipstick, most are machmir to make sure that they don't have chametz in it, but you don't need a new one. Don't need a new one. Kidneys, I don't know. You're there. Now, foods, the zin strips, someone asked Rabbi Rudinsky that he looked into them. Now, again, we're like, it's a shtickle game of broken telephones, so we are very nervous over here, and he actually clarified back. Rudinsky, by the way, Rudinsky is an Adam Gadol. You could rely, he doesn't need my eskam. The man just made you see him on Bavli and Yerushalmi, and he's doing yearly Bavli for, I don't know, 20, 30 years Bavli? I don't know. Yerushalmi, Sitzro Chaim was nifter. He's been doing Yerushalmi. So we're dealing with like a real Adam Gadol. He has a chat that he answers shaylas as if he has nothing better to do. So he sits there and he answers shaylas. It's Meyerdik. Someone asked about these zin strips, and the guy who wrote, he looked into it and he said it contains only kitnias. So is that correct? Can you read it for us? I can read it. Sure, thank you. He said he reached out to the CRC. Again, we have like mamish broken telephone here, so I'm quoting it as it is, so no one could misquote us. He reached out to the CRC regarding zin during Pesach, zin nicotine pouches. We're not endorsing any type of any recreational drugs or anything out there. And those who just snipped the video 12 seconds ago to say that we did, keep on listening. Okay, let's not get in trouble. And the CRC responded. Those made in the USA are probably just kidneys, can never be sure. Accordingly, if you have a medical need, you should speak to your Rav, who can advise you regarding Pesach. For someone who insists this is the only option to help him prevent from smoking, can he use it on Pesach if it's made in the USA? And Rabbi Rudinsky responded, if your facts are true, which is an if the CRC responded to that, by the way, it's probably public knowledge. They publish everything that they write. He said he'll be makel. If this is the only way one could not smoke on those zin guys, on those zin guys. Listerine chips all definitely need kashrus for Pesach. Someone asked about. Okay, we're officially done this year. I'll just go through some basic shilas that have been asked over the past few days, because usually if one person asked it, there's 10 more people that either should have asked it or want to ask it. All cutlery, plastic, paper, plates, and whatnot. So plastic is fine. Paper happens to be a real chumrah. It's not one of those made up things. This is one of those things like you wouldn't actually think, because a lot of the paper plates are coated with a type of powder, very minimal, and it's made of starch. And therefore, lemaisa, that's the reason to be machmer. If one uses it on Pesach, with napkins, paper towels, and things like that, that's the reason why that's actually a real chumrah. It's like one of those things you never would think. I think that's probably the first one on most people's list. Like, you crazy? You need to have kosher Pesach napkins? Like, you're nuts. Lemaisa, and the reason is we just finished eating fried schnitzel. Often, what do you do with boiling hot schnitzel? You put it on a napkin. And if that napkin actually had some level of powder, of a starch, so you're eating it, mamish, and that is a real chumrah. Floor cleaners, dishwashing soap, detergents are not a problem at all. Creams, lotions, deodorants, soaps we spoke about are not a problem at all. Someone reached out about salmon. Salmon, we spoke about during the year that many are makel to buy regular salmon without. I saw he had a whole shtickle tire. Didn't get a chance to read it. It was so much fun. Some are makel throughout the whole year on buying salmon without a hechsher. Buying salmon without a hechsher. Many of the kashrus organizations are makel. I just found out today Radinsky is violently opposed. Ayin Sham, he took the time to answer that one.
During the year?
During the year, he does not recommend buying salmon without a hechsher. If ayin sham, it's a very long answer, which I don't believe the Maiman can necessarily understand. But the many kashrus organizations, if not all, write that you could buy classical salmon throughout the year. In European countries, they all do this. This is the most normal thing in the world without kashrus. The shaila is, what about on Pesach? What about on Pesach? So I don't know the answer to this question because why would it be different? So the reason is, the little bit I looked into is that there is a glaze apparently that they put on top of the salmon that during the year is made out of nothing. But the OU was writing, I don't fully understand what this means. They were writing that the glaze might have Pesach, might have chametz, but if it's before Pesach, it would be batul. If it's on Pesach, it's not. So the OU, you could check their app. A lot of their salmons, they say you could buy with regular kashrus without OUP. That's what the OU writes. And again, you just check their list. That's I don't know anything more about the salmons. I don't know anything more about the salmons. We mentioned kids items. I think we mentioned already pacifiers and bottles. One does not need to buy new ones. You can just boil them up. Kids, lemaisa, little kids, you could give them kitnias. You don't wash it in the kitchen sink. You definitely don't wash it with hot. You wash it in a sidebar. In a sidebar sink, the height chair does not, everything should be covered lechatchila, but we mentioned that if you're putting down hot enough food in your kid's height chair that it's hot, then you should be arrested because you just burnt your kid's face off, and therefore it's not really an issue. But it should be covered because when you nibbled the chicken off your son's height chair cover, so whatever. Yeah, never happened, of course not, never. Right, yeah, wait, wow, he ate so much? No. Well, whatever, I was hungry. So either way, that's the high chair cover. I think we're done. Does anyone have any other shaylos? I'm trying to think of anything else.
Paper.
Yeah, paper.
If mice were makel, like all the things.
B'diavad if you use it. No, that is something you should get kosher Pesach. Or just don't put boiling hot food on it. Don't put boiling hot food on it because on Pesach there's no bitzel. So if there is a dot of something in it and you put your boiling hot shetzla on it, it's a real chumrah. It's a chumrah. If you want to know, is one allowed to? Yeah. Oh, paper, all everywhere. Come out, they all are anyways. But again, just don't put something boiling. It's a chumrah.
We take a 9x13 pan, put on the paper towel, and we take a good half French fry.
B'diavad, it's going to be fine. You're going to be able to eat it. L'maisa, it's a chumrah. It's a chumrah to avoid. But again, it's a chumrah. It is a chumrah. It is don't eat fried stuff.
The zin sounds like better not to do.
I told you every word I know. I know nothing else. That's what he says. Good. Are we done? Anyone else? Yes. Daily medications.
You put it every day in your mouth?
Yeah.
No, not every day.
Flavored or flavorless?
I love using it. But the person, I'm not even
And it tastes like
Good. I want to answer his question. When we're end with his question, one second. I'm sorry. Let's just end with his question. Very important question. The rule of refuah. Give me 1 second. He asked, "What about a daily medication? That very good. You're not a chayla, but if you don't take it, you will be a chayla. So that in the rules of refuah gets you the gedder of a chayla. Chashabis, that makes you a chayla, and therefore you're allowed to take it. Again, usually daily medications don't have flavored, but the kids might. Kids might sometimes.
The ones that like the Tylenol.
Yeah.
sometimes
But check
pills that have
Give out the
Disgusting
culture.
flavor.
Be in touch.
Disgusting.
Any questions? Reach out.